3 ayahs altogether. This is why we advise to memorize them. And in the hadith sahih, Rasulullah, if anybody would read this from his night, it would suffice him. This is enough. You read those 3 ayahs, subhanAllah, this is beneficial, this is enough for everything. So, time, what is my time? Where does my time go? So wallahi, I tried. I made a plan, I ran after it, I tried to follow it as much as possible throughout the day. But when you're working with live samples and students, no pun intended, sometimes things don't go very well, and unfortunately I had to go to some lecture. I left things with the student to take care of, came back, he didn't do something right, and it put me out of my schedule for 15 minutes. Thus, 10 minutes late here. My problem is that my time is so packed, my schedule, my day is so packed, that a single derailment anywhere is going to interfere with the rest of the day. And this is what you're going through right now. Why are you going through that right now? Because of finals? Because you did not prepare the rest of the year, right? The rest of the semester. If you've been up on your studies, Allahu A'lam, some of you might be, some of you might not be. Some of you might be having just a grand time right now, having I don't care, I can get a C in this final and still get an A in this class. Fine, I know, I've been there, I've done that, I don't need to, it happened once throughout my entire academic career that I didn't have to take the final to get an A. Only once. That's it. Small class. But it happens. And if you are one of those, mashallah, may Allah Azza wa Jal bless you because you've been up on your studies throughout. But if you're struggling and waiting to the last minute, which I also do because I am the procrastinator, and I'm learning not to be because right now I have more responsibility, you have to learn how to structure your time perfectly. And I came across some hints and something to help. And what I'm going to talk about inshallah later on is how to structure your time, how to manage your time to avoid exactly what you said about the salah getting the last share of your day. How to structure your time, how to use the salah as your time point checks, as the system to manage your time. Now I've said something, and I'm going to bring it back to some of the sisters here. I've said that last time I gave a lecture, and Sister Sharifa was amongst them, and heard this advice that I gave, and I said, you know what? What I want you to do, and this advice is not mine, came from Amr Khalid at one point, I heard it in one of his lectures. And he said, if you want to, why don't you take a sheet of paper, structure it or Excel sheet, divide it into half-hour slots. Nice. Divide it into half-hour slots, and every time you finish half an hour or once an hour or whatever, go back and fill in what you've done over the past hour. So rather than structuring your day in half-hour slots, I'm going to do this at 4:30, I'm going to do that at 5, I'm going to do that at 5:30 because I really don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm planning to study today at this time to that time. That's good. Still, you need to plan. But this was more an attempt of how much time are you wasting throughout the day. Okay? And when I proposed this at Mass, where I teach weekly, and unfortunately most of the people got it the other way around. They structured ahead of time. So I said, no, I want people structuring backward. To document. It's a documentation of what you've done over the past hour. Did you do that? Exactly. Did you document what you've done in the past, or did you forward structure?
I put all my obligations, and if I didn't do it, I crossed it, and what I do.
So you did forward.
Ish, because you don't always follow exactly. So
Exactly. Yeah. This is so same thing, obviously, because you were there last week. So I am looking forward on Saturday to see what people done when they document what they have been doing over the past hour. I tried to do this today because I know the moment I walk into the lab, I just don't have time. Wallahi, I tell you, I documented my little note here just so I can share with you. and I put it on my phone. And it was because I know that I don't have the time. I did that over 2-hour periods. So 9, I get there like I drop off my kids to school and I get there. So from between 9 and 11 o'clock, I set up fibronectin plates. I set up my media. I read a paper, which I was supposed to read a paper, and I brought it with me, the one that you just saw me holding. Unfortunately, I only got through the first page. I brainstormed with my professor about the latest results that we had. 11 to 1 o'clock, brainstorming with my professor still, because we were not only that just talking, we're not discussing, we're actually going back and forth between the computer and the papers and trying to analyze some results. Continue back on my experiments, started doing my results. Now I find some time to go downstairs. I am in the 3rd floor. I have to go walk all the way to another building, to the chapel where I can pray Dhuhr, and they came back. Okay, I started working. At between 1, 2, 3, I took 1 point that I was able to write down. Continue to experiment, pray. That's it, no more. I don't have any more time. I did not have a chance since then to do anything about it. The reason I wanted to do this is I wanted to see how much time I'm wasting. I know every now and then I catch myself going on my LinkedIn and making sure that I'm updated or looked at my profile or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I do that, right? But I wanted to document how much I did that. Today, because I knew that I was coming here, I knew that I cannot spare a single moment. And I was working like a madman. I did not have time to do anything. The first meal I had was a bag of chips on my way driving here. So, I was told, okay, so you're a part-time manager. I am. Sometimes I believe that I am. But alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, and I've said this to you before, if you heard me talking about this before, it's in Allah, this is one of the scholars said this. If someone, a sign of Allah's love to His servant is that He would make His time so full and busy, that He will have more than one thing going on at the same time. And a sign of Allah's maqt, Allah's hatred and loathing to someone, is that they will spend their time in doing nothing. So, the purpose of this schedule that I'm asking you to do is so that you see how many hours you're wasting on Facebook, how many hours you're wasting on Twitter, how many hours you're facing on just text messaging. One of the kids that I teach that other day, I teach this bunch of 14 to 16-year-olds. Text message, Ammo, what am I going to do? Okay, you need to memorize this. Ammo, did you see this? Yeah, I did, but it was nice. Okay, thank you. Ammo, what about this, that? Ammo, what about this? Wallahi, I got finally 5 messages. Like, listen, man, I need to sleep. Isn't that time to your sleep? It was like 10:30 at night. Don't you have to go to school tomorrow? It says, yes. Well, go to sleep. Ammo, but I don't want to because I want to chat with you. And I said, you know what? But I want to sleep. Subhanallah. And guess what? I'm going to see him on Saturday and he's going to get it. So we do this. We do this because we're social. We're ins. We're called ins. Ins comes from the word anas, which means to be cheerful and happy. We cannot live alone, so we have to socialize. And when we socialize, we forget about all of the other things. Very quickly, you've heard this before. Allah Azza wa Jal cares about time a great, great deal. Allah Azza wa Jal uses as a qasam, as an oath by His time. Al-Asr, Al-Duha, Wal-Layl, Wal-Nahar, Wal-Shams, Wal-Duhaha. They're all time-specific points. And Allah Azza wa Jal cares about these time points. So, Allah prescribed 5 daily prayers. 5 specific times, gave you a little bit of a leeway when you can pray them. But Allah Rasul says the best to pray your salah on time. This is hadith, da'if. But it is also وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Those who are ignoring, they're forgetting about their salah a little bit, not focused on their salah. So how can you use your prayers? And I'm going to talk about this time bit, and then we're going to go inshallah and talk about what do you want to do with your life when you grow up. So, as-salah, Allah Azza wa Jalla, as I said, prescribed 5 salahs. 5 specific times. That by itself, that Allah Azza wa Jalla made it a time specific point, made a point of specific in time that you have to perform the salah, not before, that by itself is a lesson. I said this before, I don't know if you heard me say that. Do you dare during Ramadan to do iftar 5 minutes before al-Maghrib? No, you want to make sure exactly that if al-Maghrib is at 7:30, you want to wait until 7:31 to make sure that your time is not wrong. Your watch is not off by a minute. You want to make sure. You want to hear more than one adhan going on one more than cell phone to make sure, as if you're hearing more than one masjid back home. Going for adhan, so you can realize, like, oh, okay, khalas, it's time now, I can go ahead and make a fun. Why are you so, focused on this time point? Because you want to perform this ibadah correctly. Which is more, or which comes as a higher priority in listing of arkan al-Islam, of the pillars of Islam? Siyam or salah? Salah. Rasulullah said, "Buniyal Islam ala khams." Islam has been built on 5 shahadatan, and then immediately, I said, they did not say siyam, said iqam as-salah. Iqam, establishing, make it established, make it rise. I forgot the word. Never mind. Okay. So that by itself is a lesson that we mostly all fail. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبِّي. The fact that what the sister said, that might be applying to all of us at one point. Now you go through all of this, and now you put aside the fact that you did not salit, you did not pray. And I fall into it. And we were having a big, nice discussion, my wife and I, yesterday about this fact that, people might be wasting their time sitting on Facebook, and they want to finish that chat, they're chatting with a friend, they're chatting whatever, they're reading this amazing article over and over. Maghrib right now comes right after Asr, not too long after that. It says there's a 2 hours between Dhuhr and Asr, 2 hours between Asr and Maghrib. Without noticing, oh my God, I gotta get up and Salah al-Asr before it's time as Maghrib comes in, right? That's how it happens. And you just wasted time, and then you go, oh man, what was I doing? I was just chatting on the internet, or I was looking at this, or I was updating my LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. But what if you're working? What if you're in your lab, you're studying, you're in the library, you're putting your book report, lab report, project report, whatever, you're beyond book reports right now. Whatever you're doing, what if you're doing that? That's all right, right? Because al-amalu ibadah. And while I'm studying, it's kind of worship, right? So that's what I'm saying. Is what if you're focused so much? Okay, so here it is. The whole purpose why Allah Azza wa Jal put these time points is so that we can respect time. And respecting time is respecting Allah, because Allah Azza wa Jal, the Rasulullah says, "La tasubbu ad-dahr, fa inna Allah ad-dahr," or something like that. I can't remember exactly the wording. Don't curse time, don't curse the year, because Allah is time. So by respecting time, you're respecting Allah Azza wa Jal by disrespecting time. Especially when it comes to matters of worship, you are disrespecting Allah Azza wa Jal. And eventually, when you're not respecting time for worship, why would you respect time for anything else beyond that? Since worship should be your highest priority. So imagine this, if I were to use time as my management. Imagine, this is the wonderful world. This is the perfect world if that we live in a perfect world. Or maybe the perfect world around the time of Sahaba radiallahu anhum. They probably get up, they're doing all of their work, waiting for it's time for Dhuhr. I can't wait, anytime I'm going to hear adhan. Alhamdulillah, finally I hear the adhan, I'm going to go right now and do salah. They planned their day around the salah. Well, can you meet me up at this time? No, I can't. You know what? Because if I do, then I'm going to interfere with the salah time. How about we do it after the salah? Who amongst us did something like this? no, I can't do this right now because if I do it, I might risk jeopardizing my salah time.